Welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, August 2nd. I'm CP3, rolling with the homie there, Tass Mellis.
Hello, what's good?
What's up, Tass? Got my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo! The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And finally, back from cottage country up in Canada, making the magic happen. It's JD. Where are you, JD? Oh my God, it's Andrew Schlesinger. Oh, no.
Like he took him out. He took JD out of the game.
He's killed JD. Buried him up in Mount Canaan.
You can't get rid of me that.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me that easily, fellas. I'm back.
Oh my goodness, yes. We were expecting JD to be back from vacation, but his flight got canceled late last night, pushed to today. Hopefully he's making his way back at this point. But yeah, Andrew, you're back in after those sweet goodbyes at the end of Friday's show. Everybody in the comments, everybody on Twitter, you did such a great job. Awesome job. We'll see you down the line. And here you are on Monday. I love it.
It's good. I'm glad to be back.
We're happy to have you. First things first, guys. Shout out to the stream team joining us live on YouTube. Smash that like button, leave a comment below the vid, and subscribe if you haven't already. Keep sending in your questions and comments for the next Beach Steppin' podcast. Email them in, nodunks@theathletic.com. And finally, go grab your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. Over the weekend, sort of just out of nowhere, Breaking T decided, hey, should we make the stream team t-shirt that we launched last week into a mug? Hell yeah, we should. So we got a brand new Stream Team mug for all you Stream Teamers and everybody that just listens to the podcast and watches later and can't join us live, unfortunately. Just go grab it. NoDunks.com. Get that new incredible mug and all of your No Dunks merch. Immaculate items always available for sale. Okay. Action-packed show. We're going to discuss the minor trades that happened over this weekend. Lee, you got tweet of the night.
Yeah.
I saw it accidentally, the video. Wow, I'm excited for this one. Man.
Wow.
I gotta say. So stick around to the end of the show for tweet of the night. But NBA free agency, guys, players cannot officially sign contracts with teams until August 6th, so later this week, but negotiations are allowed to occur starting today at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we gotta wait till then. Nobody can talk to each other. Yeah, the rumors are already flying. They're already buzzing here. So we've got lots to break down here. And let's just start with a couple guys that have opted out or declined their player options. Kawhi Leonard declining his $36 million player option to become an unrestricted free agent. So, Lee, you can get us started here. I guess the first question with this news, all reportedly still, but it looks likely, are the Clippers still the front runner in your mind to keep Kawhi Leonard and keep him in his services?
Yes, I think so. This seems to be nothing really more than a sort of paperwork formality, and it really allows Kawhi to decide whether or not he signs now for a big 4-year deal around $170 million he can get, or if he decides to sign for just one season here with the Clippers, and then next year he can sign an even bigger contract around 5 years, $230+ million like that. So I think there's a few rumors about him potentially going somewhere else, but nothing really concrete. I think he's going to stay with the Clippers. It's just whether or not he decides, does he want to stay for 4 years right now and give him a little bit more safety and security, because he's obviously very unlikely to play a lot of next season with this ACL injury, or does he sort of take a bit of a risk and say, I think I'm going to recover, I'll be fine, and then in a year's time I can sign an even bigger deal. So I think the Clippers are still going to sign him. I think he's going to stay there. I think he knows that, they were pretty close this season. Even without him, actually, they played well. So I think that first year things didn't go all that well, even though they made the second round of the playoffs. The second season, things started to get together. He obviously got injured. Paul George has already signed on there long term as well. So their main other piece is there, and I think Kawhi is going to do the same thing. As far as other teams that could potentially sign him, looking at Spot Track's teams with the most cap space, it's the Knicks at $50 million. I don't think he's going to New York. I just don't see that. I think the Knicks would obviously love to have him, but I just don't see that happening. The San Antonio Spurs are second most with $48 million. I think we can safely assume he's not going back to San Antonio.
I don't think so.
And then you've got the one that is a little bit intriguing here. It's the Dallas Mavericks. They have about $33 million in cap space. Now, that's not enough for Kawhi to get the max that he could get, but I think he'd be a great fit alongside Luka Doncic. I think he'd be a great player. I think the Mavericks would love to have him. There was some talk that they were interested in him, but again, I just don't really see him leaving the Clippers. I think that's still the best situation for him. So short of something crazy happening, and of course, look, the Mavericks, if they could somehow get a sign and trade and maybe get off Porzingis' contract, I think they would be interested in that. But I don't really see it happening. I think for all the rumors out there, I think it's most likely that he just re-signs with the Clippers. And I think he might actually take that 4-year deal. I just feel that he might go, you know what? We've had 2 big injuries in our career now. Maybe we just take that. Just take that. I don't know.
Is he talking to his legs, like his own legs? We've had a few injuries here, buddies.
Yeah, some guy's talking to the third person. He's just talking in the we in the plural.
Look, he probably won't. He probably will just do a 1-year deal and then sign the 5-year. I don't know. I think coming off an ACL, I think maybe you want to just take that 4-year just to be safe. But listen, 176 million, 230 million. It's not bad bucks if you can get paid that for it. So
not bad bucks.
Yeah.
Tass, what do you think he does?
Well, I think he stays with the Clippers, but I think they are sweating a little bit in the front office, just like us here, waiting for JD to cross the border. Until he lands, until he gets there, until he signs the dotted line, you still have to worry a little bit. John Hollinger pointed it out today in his column as a member of the front office. Yeah, you expect certain things to happen, but until it happens, you got to be a little nervous. But that being said, he's definitely staying in Los Angeles. According to reports from Sam Amick, he was definitely involved and at a lot of the workouts for the draftees, and the executives have told everybody as far as the trades go that you're operating with Kawhi. The idea that Kawhi is still on the team. It is a tiny bit surprising that he opted out. Because he did say a few months ago, listen, if I'm healthy, then the smart thing for me is to opt out.
Right.
And he is not healthy. He's going to be gone for most of the season next year. But I do think he probably signs the 4-year deal as well, even though he can, check out for a year here. Just basically, what's crazy is that he's unlikely to play next year. So he could sign this 1+1 and not play at all next year, possibly, and then next offseason sign a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of freaking weird when you think about it. But we saw like Kevin Durant 2 years ago go from rupturing his Achilles to signing a 4-year max deal with Brooklyn, and this is an ACL tear, and we could definitely see the same thing. So if he wants that security, it goes 4 years. Modern medicine says he's going to be back, even though him and his legs are saying to each other, we've been hurt before. But I think 4 is the way to go for him. But who knows? It could be a 1+5 where he doesn't even play next season.
Yeah, Trey, if you're, you got to make a prediction on this one, what him and his team decides to do. Is it what these guys are thinking with the 4-year sort of deal there, or is it the 1-1 and then he can make crazy money? Like Taz said, not even probably playing next year. I guess he could, in theory, come back at the end of the year, maybe the postseason. It's possible, but I think it would even be unlikely that they would push it. But what do you think?
I think he goes for the 1-1 personally, so that he can. I mean, he's going to opt out this season, as we saw. Still make another $3 million next year. That's a raise for probably not playing during the season. And like y'all are saying, he can enter free agency again in 2022. Make the most by re-signing then with the Clippers. Kawhi turned down a Jordan deal years ago because they weren't paying him enough money. He's been about his money the entire time. He's just not quite as upfront about it. It's like Santa Claus playing Detective Crashmore. Even if he does a bad job next year, you still got to pay him those extra millions of dollars, and then he goes back in to get the 10-year veteran kind of max. It only makes sense from Kawhi's point of view to opt out because he could probably sit out this season and next season, and somebody's still going to want to sign him to a maximum deal, right? We saw Kevin Durant come back off an Achilles injury, the worst basketball injury you can have, and he was one of the 3 best players in the league. So the Clippers of all teams are going to be most likely to risk this with Kawhi, right? With all they've invested in bringing him to the Clippers and Paul George, they're already pot committed to this team. So I would not be surprised to see Kawhi opt out after next season as well to try and get that huge 5-year deal.
Pot committed. Nice. I know we're not capologists here, but the reason why he can sign that monster deal is because in theory, he would have played 10 years in the league, but he's already played 10 years in the league. He's played 10 seasons.
Yeah, but
so that's my
3 years of the one team, isn't it? Though that gives him the option for that 5-year.
Oh, is that it? You have to sign 3 years. You have
Play
to play
for 3
3
years.
years.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Which is why I'm with you, Trey. I think he's going to do the 1-1 to then sign the, what is it, 235 million
Around that,
projected type of
5
thing
years,
for the 5 years with being a 10-year guy. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. But he's not going anywhere. Yeah. The Mavs would like to have him, sure. The Knicks would like to have him, sure. But he's staying in LA. I mean, you lock that in. This one, another guy, big name, maybe not as big as Kawhi, but right there, an all-star still. Chris Paul, reportedly, again, declining his $44 million player option. That's wild to see. He's becoming an unrestricted free agent. So a lot of people do think he's going to stay in Phoenix, Lee. What type of deal should we expect here that Chris Paul is, if we think he's going to stay in Phoenix, in the Valley there? What are we looking at here? What's your best guess at a new contract with Sarver there in the Suns?
Well, it's being reported that he's getting somewhere between 3 years and 90 to 100 million. So I don't think you turn down 44 million unless you have a fairly good hunch that you're going to get basically that $100 million. And Chris Paul, I mean, the way this season went for Phoenix, I mean, 2 games away from winning the championship has probably made the Suns realize, like, well, let's not just have that as a one season that was great and then try to rebuild again. Let's try to cash in as much as we can here while we have Chris Paul still playing at such a high level. I mean, he finished 5th in MVP voting, and the way that he takes care of his body, because that was one of the issues early in his career. He had a lot of hamstrings and groin strains and things like that. And in the playoffs, it sort of caught up with him a little bit. But this year was the opposite, really. I mean, I know he got injured early on in the playoffs, and he missed some time for the coronavirus protocols. But other than that, Chris Paul was an incredibly resilient player this season. So I think the Suns go, listen, we were close this year. Maybe we can get even closer next year if we return, because Devin Booker's coming back, DeAndre Ayton's coming back. I'm not sure about a couple of those other guys, like a Bridges. Campaign opted out, for example. I mean, he's not a huge, pendulum swinger for that team, but he played some good minutes for them off the bench. But obviously, if you can get Chris Paul back, you pay him now, knowing that if it doesn't work out, you probably can still move Chris Paul on to another team after next season if things don't go out, because he's still playing at such a high level. So I would say the Suns apparently sort of lowballed him a little bit, because they could negotiate. They could start negotiations with him prior to free agency, because they're the only team that could do that.
Otherwise, no one could talk to him.
Exactly.
Can't even call him.
But apparently they've come back with a better offer. This is I don't know, of course, all these rumors are out there, but I think if the Suns are smart, they'll say, let's just sign him now to 3 years and $100 million if he's willing to come back, because things went almost perfect for the team last season.
Yeah, 3 for 100. That's a nice number right there, Lee, because it extends Chris Paul. He gets to cash in on this one last long deal at 36 years of age now. He'll be, I guess he'll be 39 by the time this contract is over, but it also saves the Suns like a tiny bit of money for next season, right? He'll be making, say, $33 million compared to $44 million. That's enough to help bring back Campaign or find some other big guy who would be able to give you minutes come playoff time as well. And then who knows? I mean, maybe he adds options as well to his deal and is able to go and try and get another sort of option thing with another team somewhere further down the line. But Chris Paul played this pretty well. The Suns are going to be getting more expensive coming here in the future. Bridges will be up for an extension. Ayton will be up for an extension. They're going to pay both of those guys. Ayton likely will get the super duper max, the most he can get, and Bridges won't be too far behind. So makes sense for Chris Paul to cash in now and stick around with a team that still has some upward growth, you would think.
Tass, some people I saw, even in the stream team, and you see it online, especially on Twitter. What about Chris Paul going to the Lakers, man? Why wouldn't he go there? Why is that not happening, Tass?
Well, Chris Paul has put a lot of years into playing basketball, and now at 36, he wants to get paid. So to answer your question, Skeets, he wants to get paid his due. He doesn't want to go get paid $8 million or whatever the number is with the Lakers, because they've got 3 guys that they're paying $120 million. There is a salary cap in the NBA. So yeah, them's the rules. He can't just go sign for whatever number he wants over there. And they've got their point guard in Russell Westbrook over there. So I don't know. They just seem to be collecting talent in LA. Even the DeMar DeRozan thing doesn't seem to be happening now. There was rumors that DeMar would try and find his way there to hometown LA, but because of the money that they've got paying already for Anthony Davis, LeBron, and Russell, it's doubtful Chris Paul goes there. Chris Paul, yeah, he's turning down 44 to get, let's say, 30 to 33 or whatever it is. Only a year ago, everyone assuming that there's no way he would turn down $44.2 million. Everybody looking at this deal. Tillman Fertitta, Rockets owner, calling it a bad contract when he was employed there with the Houston Rockets. It's wild. I think the only crazier thing would be if John Wall turns down his $47 million option next year in 2022, 2023. There's that on the table. But Chris Paul probably stays in Phoenix. I think he's a loyal man. He had this great year there. Yeah, he could go somewhere like, for instance, Dallas or wherever to play somewhere
Pelicans,
else. But
I guess,
the Pelicans are another team there. The Knicks obviously have money. But I think Dallas is one of the team that's probably going to swing and miss the most. And we'll get to Kyle Lowry in a second. But they got lots of room. They made lots of room with trading Josh Richardson. But it just doesn't seem like they're going to fill it with anybody other than their own guys and Tim Hardaway or somebody on that tier 2, 3, or 4 scale.
If CP3 signs a 3-year deal with another team, the most he can make is $123 million. If he stays in Phoenix, he can sign as much as $144 million. So it's like a good, $20 million plus there over that same time period. He is staying there. I think he just checks all the boxes. They just went to the finals, so they're a good team. Seems to get along exceedingly well with Booker, Ayton even, that relationship growing, and then his respect for Monty Williams and even James Jones in the front office. We keep hearing he wants to be close enough to his family in LA. I haven't checked the flight time from Phoenix to LA. It probably takes longer getting in and out of the airport for all I know, but it's close enough. So I don't think he's going.
But he's not signing anywhere close to $140 million for 3 years.
No.
$20 million, right?
No, yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah, you guys are saying 3-100.
Yeah, that's what's out there.
I think it could be more. He's the president of the players union too.
He made it so that these contracts could be signed. So,
yeah. I mean, it's almost a bad look if he's giving up, deals to the team. It's get that money, man, and he's earned it too. That's the other part. Jesus, he turned him into a finals contender, into one of the better teams in the Western Conference all season long too. It wasn't just some miraculous run. They were the second best team all year there in the West. So I'll go a little bit more than 100, but not much because. Yeah, they want some room to play with here still, and Sarver is notoriously
thrift.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. So they'll be in agreement, of course, but he's not going anywhere. Well, let's get to the Kyle Lowry stuff here, though, because the Heat were doing moves that leads a lot of people to believe they're in the the driver's seat here to get Kyle Lowry, and that was a couple things that they did with a couple of their players. They picked up Goran Dragic's option, and they're declining Andre Iguodala's option. Again, all reported here. Tass, do these moves in your mind sort of put Miami ahead of a couple of the other teams when it comes to possibly getting Kyle Lowry on their team for the start of next season?
Well, what it comes down to is where does Kyle Lowry want to play? That's what this all comes down to. And he is, I think, in good stead with the Raptors front office, and he'll tell them, hey, I want to go to Miami. I'm an old man. Keep me in Florida. I just played there last season. Let me retire there. Great article by Michael Grange talking about Lowry showing up in the Ferrari, that beautiful, beautiful matte blue Ferrari, and with the top down, pull up with the ceiling down. And he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave the beautiful state of Florida. I get it. I think that makes sense. I think he wants to play with Jimmy Butler, so he has plenty of options. Does he want to go to Dallas? They've seemingly emptied the cupboard for him to go take $30 million there beside Luka Doncic, even though if you look at the internet, Dallas fans don't want Kyle Lowry to play with Luka Doncic for some odd reason. And there's the New Orleans possibility because they're trying to win. But I think Kyle Lowry does the Raps a favor and doesn't just leave as an unrestricted free agent and it becomes part of this sign and trade that the Heat like to do. They did it for Jimmy Butler with the Philadelphia 76ers for Josh Richardson a couple of years ago. And yeah, the Heat would send back a player or two, and it looks like it would be Goran Dragic, who may move on afterwards, with Precious Achiuwa being the piece that the Raptors would get. And I think that makes sense. I think it works on both sides. Lowry wants to go to Miami, it seems like. And the Raptors would get a player in return instead of him just leaving, and he gets to keep the Ferrari vrooming as much as possible down in Florida.
As a Raptors fan, then, you're fine with that move? Let's say in a sign and trade with Lowry, Dragic coming back, and possibility to then flip him to, say, another team like the Mavericks, maybe not. And then Precious Achiuwa, let's say, being like the young piece, the young big that you're attaching to that. Maybe there's a future pick, who knows? You like that as a Raps fan? If you're expecting Lowry that he wants to leave.
Yeah, he is leaving. He is leaving. So you have to start with that. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a few months ago. But yeah, you have to start with that. And the package is really the same as when we were talking about it several months ago. They're, probably, yearning for Tyler Hero to be part of that deal, but it just ain't going to happen. So yeah, I think the Precious Achiuwa, as far as, starting with the fact that Lowry's going, yeah. Aren't you? I think that's all you can expect. I mean, I'm higher on Precious Achiuwa and the confidence that he's got than some people. He is undersized as a big, and that's going to be an issue going forward. But he plays bigger than his 6'8" frame, and he's going to be playing with a lot of dudes that cover a lot of space in Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes. So that it makes sense to me.
What do you think, Trey, about this whole? The moves the Heat made, the possibility of Lowry going there, and maybe this reported deal that is something like a Dragic and an Achiuwa for Lowry in a sign and trade.
Lowry to the Heat feels to me like Jimmy Butler going to the Heat, where it's already a done deal, and it kind of has been for a little bit. It's just taking the time to actually get there. No surprise then that they are buddies who made friends on Team USA, and they're finally going to get together in the backcourt. It's going to be a fun backcourt to watch, and I don't know, Lowry just feels much like Jimmy Butler, a perfect fit for the Miami culture and the way they go about their business there. And, the return of Dragic, and if he's able to bring back an asset, which is likely the case, would be nice. I don't know. Precious Achiuwa, he's going to be 22 when the next season starts. The Raptors would be on their way to their ideal lineup of everybody being exactly 6'8", able to guard every single position, and Fred VanVleet. But better than nothing, honestly. If Lowry's going to be leaving, which he is, at least you're getting something in return.
Lee, what are your thoughts on this? Because I threw it out on Twitter, and it was fascinating, the responses. I mean, that's Twitter for you. But a lot of Raptors fans, I assume, no. God, no. No. Dragic, what? No. Like this sort of reaction. Where I'm looking at it like sort of Tass and Trey are saying, like, if you think the guy is leaving, and we ultimately do this time, it's better to get back something than nothing, is it not? Especially if you then can still move a Dragic for other pieces. Maybe like the Mavs are left going, well, we don't have a point guard that we wanted now. Conley's staying in Utah. Oh, Lowry's gone to the Heat. Lonzo's gone somewhere else, whatever. Okay, maybe we'll talk ourselves into a Dragic or stuff like that. Anyway, what do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a contract. It's an asset that you get there, and that Masai Ujiri is smart enough to be like, you know what? I'll just hang on to these two assets just in case there is a chance to move them and get something better in return. I think Precious Achiuwa, defensively, he's like, okay, he can get up there and block shots, contest shots and rebounds. Hasn't got much of an offensive game that he's shown us so far. But Dragic as well. Even if Dragic, they end up
stayed for a year,
he's shown that he's still a pretty good player. Coming off the bench, he did a lot of that a lot in Miami. So he's at the stage of his career where it's like anything you get out of him is a bonus. But he's a veteran. He wants to play hard. He probably wants to hang around in the league for a few more years and show that he can still play and get another contract. So yeah, for the fact that Kyle Lowry could actually sign anyway and give the Raptors nothing in return, you may as well get a couple of controllable assets back that you just have a look at and then see what the market's for out there. Because I definitely think Goran Dragic is going to have interest, maybe not at the start of the season, but as we always see, towards the trade deadline, as that playoff stretch approaches, and teams like, we just need a veteran point guard. Some like the Clippers, for example, I'm not looking in the trade machine whether or not they could fit him in with anything, but they could use a guy like Goran Dragic. I think a bit of a distributor, a guy who can hit big shots and get the ball to their better players. So I think this is a pretty smart move here from Masai Ujiri to be like, okay, Kyle, we'll do the sign and trade. So you go to a team you want to go to, and in return, we've got a couple of little pieces here to play with. So I think it's pretty good for the Raptors, considering Kyle Lowry is not going to play another game for the team.
Yeah, well, you said kind of Kawhi there, slipped that in. Kawhi left, for nothing. Marcus O left for nothing. Serge Ibaka left for nothing. So they are missing a bunch of their championship team. Didn't get them anything in return, and so this would be a coup. I'm going to use that word. It's a coup, man. Precious Achiuwa is a solid guy. Yeah, you want Tyler Hero, I guess, But
now we see why the Heat didn't do it. That, to me, is also kind of gives us a little bit of information about what was happening at the trade deadline. The Heat were not going to give up Tyler Hero for Kyle Lowry, probably because they knew they could get Kyle Lowry in the summer. And they're giving up Precious Achiuwa, which, I remember the Heat saying he was their next Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is still young, so Precious would be buried behind Bam, no doubt, on the Heat. So smooth stuff from Pat Riley if this goes down.
Yeah, it's funny, though, with Lowry now having, what feels like the third or fourth time in the history of being a Raptor player that he's leaving, but then is still there. He's like the guy at the party. You're at a party and the guy's like, all right, guys, got to get going. We'll see you later. And then he's sort of making his way around the party to say bye to everyone. You're like an hour later, you're like, hey, Trey's still here. He just said bye to me like an hour ago. He's still making his way. It's like somehow he's just
like Andrew coming back for a podcast on Monday after we said goodbye to him on Friday.
That's what's going on here with Lowry. But I do think this is ultimately, the end of him. As the GOAT, he's going to be gone. And the whole thing was like, well, he could just sign elsewhere. That's sort of true. I think you said it, Lee. Of course, depends how much money he wants to make. Some teams, yes, the Pelicans, Mavericks trying to open up that spot. There are some teams where it's like, probably reasonable. He'd be like, okay, I'll just go and sign there. But a team like Miami, probably again, the level he wants to make in a couple of years here for at least 2 or 3 years, that can't happen. They can't just outright sign him. It's got to be sort of a sign and trade.
Right.
If that's the team he really wants to get to, and he's got a relationship with Masai, and then everybody's sort of happy. If they come away with Precious Achiuwa, then I think they're happier than losing him for nothing. And then he gets to go to Miami and play with Jimmy Butler and Bam. What do you think? Just like from that side of things, Trey? Lowry, Butler, Bam. I mean, and then, let's say Duncan sticks around. They still have here. Like, where does that put Miami in your mind in terms of like the Eastern Conference rankings? Like, are they right there with the Nets? Are they ahead of the Bucks?
No.
Are they still trailing all these teams? Yeah, like
Nets and Bucks still the lead for me. Bucks defending champions. The Nets took them to a game 7 with their players being injured. So those two teams still got to be the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. If Lowry chooses the Heat over the Sixers, I think they're in the same league, basically, right? The Heat, the Sixers, maybe they're a smidge ahead of the Hawks and Knicks, who are kind of going to be looking to replicate their success from this previous season. But, I mean, I got them at least challenging for home court advantage in the first round. The Heat were massively disappointing in the playoffs this year, eventually losing to the eventual champion Bucks in 4 games. Did not look good at all. But they were solid down the stretch of last season. I think they ended up winning like 12 of their last 16. Jimmy Butler ended up on an all-NBA team. And you're adding a plug-and-play guard in Lowry, who's only going to help them and fit with their system perfectly. Talent-wise, they're probably just a little step behind the top 2 teams. But I think in a playoff series, nobody's going to want to play against the Heat. That's already the case right now. They're going to be well-prepared, and they're going to play defense, and they're going to give effort on both sides of the ball. That's not going to change with Lowry. They just up their talent level.
Final question here with our free agency talk, and we'll get to the trades that happened, and we'll talk a little Olympics and all that, so don't go anywhere. But which free agent, from ones we probably haven't talked about, would you like to see sign elsewhere, Trey? Because there's actually a lot of not the biggest names in the world, but just really good players, and I'm sure we'll go through some of them. But who do you have your eye on as we sort of come into official free agency talking here?
Lots of Lonzo Ball to the Bulls buzz.
Yeah, what do you think?
I would love to see it. The Bulls' biggest needs are defense and a point guard who actually passes the ball, and Lonzo does both of that. He would instantly be the best perimeter defender for Chicago, a solid rebounder for a guard, and the three-point shot has come around 37.5% from 3 the last 2 years down there in Orlando. Lonzo never gets to the line, never goes in the lane. The Bulls would be a super jump shot heavy team between Levine, Vucevic, and Lonzo handling the offense. But that to me means you need to see another step forward from Levine, and Vucevic has to put some pressure on the rim as well. The problem, though, is that Lonzo is a restricted free agent. It seems like New Orleans is going to be out of the Lowry game. I kind of think Lonzo is the perfect point guard next to Zion Williamson. I'm not sure why New Orleans is wanting to upgrade that position anyways, but if they strike out on Lowry, then they have the option to match basically anything. There's been some buzz John Hollinger had about a potential Pacers-Pelicans trade that would have Malcolm Brogdon making his way to New Orleans in a sign and trade with Lonzo. And, it feels like that's a bit better haul than getting Lowry Markkanen back in a sign and trade as well. So the Bulls just have to hope that Lonzo prefers Chicago and that New Orleans finds something else to do with their money rather than trying to match him or find out a way to include him in some kind of trade. Because I think Lonzo would be great for the Bulls.
Lee, what about you? Is there a name that you're like, ooh, I'd love to see that player go to this other team? And I'll just throw some names out there so everybody knows, like, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Lonzo, as Trey said, Evan Fournier, Rashawn Holmes, Andre Drummond, Danny Green, Devontae Graham, DeMar DeRozan. That's a big one. What is DeMar DeRozan's value right now? But of those names, someone I didn't say, who intrigues you?
Well, it's Spencer Dinwiddie for me because he actually had 2 really good seasons there in Brooklyn before this season when he tore his ACL, and he declined his option of around $12 million for next season. And I think whichever team gets him is going to be getting a nice player because I think he can play as the point guard if needed, but he can also play off the ball. He's a scorer. He averaged 20 points a game there in his last full season in Brooklyn. And I just think he would be a nice fit alongside. I actually think someone like Luka Doncic would be good for him because I think, again, he can sort of play both roles as necessary. He wouldn't come in there and try to be like, well, I'm going to be the man on this team. He would understand his role. And I just think he was really good in Brooklyn. He earned that decent contract, 3 years and about $40 million by just playing a solid role. He was out of the league for a while, got himself in shape, got himself back into the league, and now he's in a strong position where he is turning down $12 million because he thinks he's probably going to get more. And I think a 3-year sort of $40 to $50 million deal is out there for him somewhere. So I'm intrigued to see where he ends up because, again, with all this sort of point guard moving around, Mike Conley's a free agent. Obviously, Dragic, Lowry, we've talked about those guys. I think there is a spot there for a guy like Spencer who's still, comparatively young to those guys. He's only 28 right now. So obviously he's coming off the injury, as I said. But I think he could slot into a few teams because he's shown an ability to be adaptable and versatile. So, he's a good scorer. I think he's a decent defender, and he can distribute the ball. So, for a guy who has sort of been off the radar because he was out last season, I think, and he's been cleared for all activity, so he's recovered, he's ready to go, and I think he's ready to prove himself again.
I think he's looking at a lot more money than maybe you're projecting there. He's going to, and probably will get it here. What do you think about the rumors of him going to the Wizards, play with your boy Beal there? I think Fred Katz was saying they might be in the Dinwiddie sweepstakes.
Yeah,
I don't like it as much.
Well, Beal's got to move. I can't think about the Wizards while Beal's still there. They just obviously traded Westbrook, so I need Beal out of there. They need to start again. But again, yes, I think he would actually be, a decent player on that team. I think, but it just doesn't move the needle. It just that's in that situation. He needs to be on a team where it's more like, they're actually going somewhere. The Wizards aren't really going anywhere right now. So. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, 3 years, 60 million. You think you can get that much?
I think now you're getting, yeah.
I
think you're getting to about the level he's gonna, probably desire on the market. But you're right. The injury, I mean, sort of throws it for a loop there. And, Tass is
it looks like a sign-in trade too would be how he would get to Washington, according to Shams and Katz, and then the guys going back to Brooklyn in that deal. Seemingly, it's going to take a while for it to happen because of rules and regulations. But it would be Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell. Now Kuzma would help out on a championship team as he did with the Lakers. Be in that wing, play that role. Montrezl Harrell would score 1 billion points in the regular season too for the Brooklyn Nets, so it would work out for both sides if they decide the Wizards do to give him a whole big bag. I don't know if that entices Bradley Beal to stick around, but it's interesting on both sides.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tass? Or anyone else that you got your eye on?
Well, it's hard. It's hard once you start thinking about Carmelo Anthony in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform to stop thinking about it because it just makes sense, right?
It's got to happen. Yeah,
he's got to play. He's got to play with LeBron for one season here. The Lakers are going to be the oldest team in the NBA, no doubt. Bring in every old guy there and let's just watch it happen. As far as younger guys go and situations that hopefully would make a better basketball player out of somebody, I think Kelly Oubre is a guy who could benefit from going to San Antonio. There's some rumors out there that Pop is interested in Oubre. It's crazy to think that Kelly Oubre, going back to the Wizards, he started there. He's been in the league for 6 years now. It seems like he's only been around a couple of years to me, but he's played with Washington, Phoenix, and Golden State now. And he's going on 26 at the end of this year. And him, along with the sort of next class of Spur, this next era, DeJounte Murray and Jakob Poeltl, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, Dem Vassell, Luka Šamanić. I just wanted to say that name. Those are, it'd be intriguing. He needs somebody to ground him a little bit. Kelly Oubre does, just because he's been bouncing around the league way too much. A lot of potential there, and it didn't work out in Golden State this last year, but somebody's going to take a chance, and I'd like to see Pop and the Spurs get a crack.
You want so what's he go by? Wave Poppy? We got Wave Pop and Wave Poppy. Is that what we'll have?
Tsunami Poppy?
Tsunami Poppy is what it is. Yeah. Of the top
Greg
12
Poppy.
names on I guess it's Real GM's free agent tracker. It's Kawhi, Chris Paul, John Collins, Kyle Lowry, Lonzo Ball, Jared Allen, Mike Conley, DeMar DeRozan, Spencer Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder, and Norman Powell. Those are the top 12 names on their little list. I just don't think a lot of these guys are going to move teams, Lily. I mean, Lowry, we all agree. We think he's done in Toronto, though he's still at the party. He's still in the corner. He's talking to somebody. He's actually having a shot now. Jesus, what is he doing? I thought he was driving. He's probably going to move. DeRozan I'm fascinated by, and I did throw it in there, Lee. Like, what is his value worth?
Yeah.
And is he a guy, of all the guys, would he be the one that says, you know what, I'll take the pay cut to attach myself to a really good team to try and win a title? Most guys don't do that, and I'm not saying he will. Like, get your money. But I don't know. I can't figure out where he goes. If any of these, like he's teaming up with Lowry in some location is true. Is he finding his way to Miami? Is he somehow finding his way to LA? Is he like wherever? Does he just stay in San Antonio, which is a possibility too? So I can't figure him out.
Yeah, I don't think he's staying in San Antonio.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. He'll be 32 when the season starts, which is not that old, really. I mean, he takes care of himself, and he's a good, reliable guy. He's a scorer. He's going to give whatever team he goes to, he can give you 20 points a game easily. It's just whether or not, I guess, he values money or situation more so, because I believe it was John Hollinger saying he's not looking to give back too much money or take too little. I think he wants to still get paid and be on a good team. So I think that takes the Lakers out of the equation, because I don't think they can afford him, and I don't think Miami can either. So then, I mean, is Dallas an option then for maybe for DeMar DeRozan? Because again, I don't think they obviously get Kawhi. Tim Hardaway is certainly their priority, but another scorer alongside Luka Doncic is probably what the Mavericks could also use as well. So I'm not sure if they try to come in and offer him, again, exactly what, I'm not sure, but I think he gets probably a 4-year. I mean, he could get 100 million, I think, easily, actually, at his age, and considering, older guys are getting that much sort of money. So I think he could. I think DeRozan's one of those guys that's like, he's a good, solid, reliable veteran, but, does he tip a team over the edge or not? Probably not at this point of his career. But I think he'll certainly have a lot of interest. But he may say, you know what, I haven't been close to a championship. I missed out in Toronto. Maybe I do just give some money back and go for a lesser role on a team. But guys just tend to not do that, especially at only 32.
Yeah.
If he was 36, I can see that being the option. But I think he maybe looks at this and goes, there's still a big payday out there for me. So I'll take that and reassess in 4 or 5 years' time.
Yeah, no, it's true. And again, so whether or not he moves, okay, so he's maybe on the list with Lowry. Okay, we think Lonzo Ball could move. And then Dinwiddie. But I think and I guess Schroeder too, but like Norman Powell, I think he's staying in Portland. Tim Hardaway Jr., I think it's more likely he signs with the Mavs again. Mike Conley, sounds like he ain't going anywhere. Jared Allen, I think Cleveland, he stays there. And then, we said the big names there, Kawhi and Chris Paul. And then John Collins, I think it's looking more and more likely that the Hawks, match on him, whatever type of deal. So I
think the Pelicans is the interesting one, because if Lonzo Ball goes, and they're apparently really interested in getting Kyle Lowry. And I think it was Michael Grange reporting that third-year guarantee could sway Kyle Lowry. Now, it certainly sounds like the deal's already been agreed to Miami, but if Miami were only to give him 2 years guaranteed versus that third-year guarantee from the Pelicans, especially if Lonzo's gone and they desperately need a point guard, that could change things somewhat for where Kyle Lowry ends up. I don't think the Pelicans is the best destination for him because they're so far away from competing. I think the Heat is a much better destination. But if a guy says, this team's giving me $30 million more guaranteed, then it's going to really force the Heat to step up and see if they can actually guarantee that to get that deal done, because they don't want to miss out on him either. I mean, Kyle Lowry at 35 is a guy in demand. He's going to still end up with, most likely $90 to $100 million over the next 3 years.
Let's take our first break. We will get to the trades that happen this weekend and some Olympic talk, but got to pay the bills here.
Yes, and so I'm back in steamy Atlanta after spending the last few weeks abroad in and out of hotels, and that meant a lot of buffet breakfasts, which means a lot of waffles, pancakes, omelets, eggs Benedict even. And look, I managed to stay away from all the various meats on offer. I have to tell you, though, those German bratwurst sausages in Berlin became harder and harder to avoid the longer we stayed. They just smell great. They look great. But I
didn't have one?
Not one German sausage for breakfast. Because and this is the thing, for me, enjoying the local food is second only to seeing like historical sites in a new city that you're traveling to. But anyway, we're back now, and school starts this week, which means we're going to be back to more of a regular morning routine starting at 6 a.m. And that morning will include a lot of cereal for two growing boys. But thanks to Magic Spoon, it's not just good cereal and good tasting cereal, but how's this? 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories a serving. And how friendly is it? Keto friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb free. Now, you have to pay for it, but everything else is free, apparently, in there. You can build your own box or get a variety pack with available flavors such as cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. And thanks to our listeners, Magic Spoon is even bringing back a couple of classics. Cookies and cream and maple waffle have been called up to the majors. Yes, cue up the softball music, Tassie, because cookies and cream and maple waffle are here to stay. They were originally only sample flavors. But due to overwhelming response, they are now permanent members of the Magic Spoon team. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab your delicious cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order.
With U.S. sports slowing down for the summer, kind of, it's time to turn our attention to the world of golf. Somebody hit me with some golf music.
Silence.
This month, The Athletic has teamed up with the RNA to offer you the chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be at one of golf's most legendary events and locations in 2022. Coming off the back of Colin Morikawa's win at the 149th Open at Royal St. George's, England, The Athletic is giving our listeners a chance to be at St. Andrews, Scotland for the 150th Open next summer. Along with Colin defending his crown, you'll see the likes of Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Phil Mickelson battle it out to see who will be the champion golfer of 2022. And you and your family and friends can be there by entering the ballot today at theopen.com/theathletic. The Open is one of the most prestigious events in sport, and this 150th Open at St. Andrews will be even more so. So head to theopen.com/theathletic and enter the ballot for the 150th Open at St. Andrews in 2022 today. That's theopen.com/theathletic.
Nice.
Oh man, we're probably ineligible to go in that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I might have to resign next year in around that time. I want to go in. That'd be the golf tournament to go to, St. Andrews.
Quite prestigious.
Oh my goodness me, Scotland at that time of year, probably raining, but no, beautiful.
Somebody in the stream team, TK, while you're doing that ad read, Berto Eats says, TK looks like he could do golf. Now, I like this for two reasons. One, I want you to address whether you can golf, but I also love the do golf.
I've got a great golf look. I'll be completely honest. Back in high school, I took some golf lessons, and the club pro told me, you could be a golf model. A golf pro said this to me, not because I can like golf well, but my swing looks nice. I've got a nice follow through. I've got a nice looking follow through. The ball doesn't go where it's supposed to, but it looks like it should. So can I do golf? Theoretically, yes. In practice, not quite.
Okay. Do you do golf? You gotta go do golf today? Yeah, sure.
I think I'm gonna be doing golf here in not too long, in a couple of weeks. So I'll report back with my golf doing skills.
Oh, who are you hitting the links with? A Larry Luke?
Yep.
A Dent? A Grish?
No, close. We got a Larry, we got a Woody,
yeah,
and we got a Grado.
Oh wow! Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Looks like a road trip to go do some golf and listen to some Dead.
All right. Oh, incredible. Let's get to some of the deals we had over this weekend. Tass, I'm just going to lump these together and you can go wherever you want with these as we address them. But Celtics involved in both of them, okay? The first one, I guess you can call it that, was a little minor trade. Celtics getting Josh Richardson in exchange for Moses Brown. He's going back to his Mavs. Everybody knows that No Dunk's the biggest Moses Brown fans around. OKC fans know that. Okay, so that's one. And then we had a three-way deal. Oh, yeah. Celtics get Chris Dunn, Bruno Fernando, and a future second-round pick. The Hawks get DeLon Wright. And the Kings get Tristan Thompson. So have at it, Tass. What do you think of these moves? I don't know if you want to start with the Celtics getting, I guess, the best player of the bunch here and being involved in both of them. But what do you think?
Yeah, definitely the best player in Josh Richardson. You remember the hype when he was with the Miami Heat a couple years back. People extremely high on Josh Richardson. Then he was involved in the sign and trade to go to Philly. Then he went to Dallas. He just hasn't found his way with either of those two teams. So he's going to Boston. Sure seems like Evan Fournier will be on the outs with Boston and Josh Richardson will fill in a guard spot there. So best of luck to him. Although from the Mavs perspective, it's about money, just trying to free as much as possible for Kyle Lowry or a bunch of other guys that they're going to try and go get.
Right.
Now, I get that. But I'm just excited about Moses Brown. Definitely with the Dallas Mavericks. I always want to see a 7'2" plus man in the league. You know, you want to see as many large guys as possible. He had some big numbers, had a beefer with OKC this year. Then he got traded to Boston as part of that Kemba Walker deal. Dallas is always looking for bigs too. I don't think that they're just doing this strictly for the money. I think they are excited about the possibility of Moses Brown. I mean, since they let Tyson Chandler go and they won their championship, they keep swinging for big guys. A lot of Dwight Howard, Dwight Powell. They got from Boston. Mark Cuban said, "Well, we got a stretch five here along with Rajon Rondo." Dwight Powell is a stretch five. He's still there. He's trying to find his way, but I think Moses Brown is going to get a chance, and he should. And he's fun to watch, and hopefully he can move those feet enough to stick around in the league. Because the question always is with giant men in this day and age, can he guard in space? He's only 21, but he's big. He's real big, and I just love watching them roam. Like you always try and pick on the large guys. They already have a Boban in Dallas, so it's an interesting. But I hope they give him a shot, and I hope he can succeed there because it's always fun to watch. Luka to Moses. Luka always parts the seas, and he'll throw it up to Moses. Moses will just throw that baby down. So looking forward to watching that.
Some people may have been confused how this trade even happened, that Josh Richardson for Moses Brown. Like, how did the numbers work? But it's because Boston had roughly $11 million left on the trade exception it generated when it dealt Gordon Hayward to Charlotte last season. But Richardson's $11.6 million salary for next season obviously wouldn't have fit into that exception. However, as the league year has not yet flipped, Boston traded for him at his $10.8 million salary from 2021 and therefore slips him in there. So that's how that one worked. And you're right, Tass, with the Mavs are just trying to create as much cap space as possible. And Richardson also played extremely poorly. Disappointing for me. I was high on him. I liked that move from Dallas, him coming in there, and he was he was horrible.
He was very bad. And he was pretty bad for Philadelphia as well. I actually think the Hawks got the best player in this trade. I got DeLon Wright as the best guy. Yep. And I like what they did, kind of streamlining their bench, because Bruno Fernando didn't play a ton for them. Chris Dunn barely even played at all this season. It looks like they're going to probably have to replace Lou Williams. And that's nice to get DeLon Wright, who can do a little offensively and defensively. Pretty weird, though, that Moses Brown is going to be the third tallest guy on his team. When's the last time that he had two guys taller than him on a basketball team? Because Kristaps is listed at 7'3", Boban's at 7'4". So I guess Moses Brown is going to have to play the 3 for Dallas.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
monster lineup.
What do you make of these deals here, these two minor deals that we're sort of lumping together?
Yeah, I think Chris Dunn was brought in for that defensive presence for the Hawks, but I don't think he actually ended up playing at all for Atlanta last season.
He made some playoff minutes.
He played a playoff game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But DeLon Wright is one of those players. It's like he always seems to be good, but he keeps getting moved around. I thought he was good in Toronto. I thought he was good in Memphis. And he was in Sacramento last season. So I think this for the Hawks is like, yeah, great. DeLon Wright, he certainly slots in. And, you know, not going to be as good a scorer as Lou Williams, but I think overall he can probably be there a little bit longer, a little bit more stable. And I think this is a nice little pickup for the Hawks. So, yeah, I mean, it cost them nothing really to get him. And DeLon Wright has proven to be a pretty reliable backup throughout his time in the NBA. So good for Atlanta.
Some people confused with the Kings acquiring Tristan Thompson here, Tess. Are you one of them? Like, why Tristan Thompson? Really? What's their thinking here?
Probably get rid of him afterwards, I guess. I don't see him in a future King, unless they try and influence the youngsters with a little Tristan Thompson veteranship. I guess one or the other.
Trey, Tristan Thompson going to be a King for long?
Maybe a whole season. Is that a long time? I don't know. Maybe there's a team that would be interested in at the trade deadline, but for now it seems a little bit like Rashawn Holmes insurance. And the Celtics just don't really need Tristan Thompson at this point. Robert Williams is their center going forward. They've got Horford there to be their veteran guy. Who knows how he's going to look after taking a season off, kind of. So, yeah, weird stuff from the Kings, but pretty minor, all things considered. They've made weirder moves in the past week, so this one kind of can just slide on by.
All right, let's talk a little Olympics. Give you a quick update here. We are into the men's Olympic knockout stage draw. Games begin late tonight here on Monday, and then they go into early Tuesday morning. I'm talking Eastern time here, of course. We got Slovenia versus Germany at 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday night here. Again, ET. Then Spain versus Team USA. It's a late start, 12:40 a.m., followed by Italy versus France, and then Australia versus Argentina. So this is where we're at. You lose, you're out. Trey, we saw Team USA turn it on after a bad, let's call it first quarter against the Czech Republic, but looked pretty dominant after that with KD and Tatum catching fire. How do you feel about the draw, though? Spain, you know, obviously no slouch here. And then maybe possibility a second round, I guess you want to call it, date with the Australians. I don't want to look too far ahead there, Lely, but TK, what do you make? How you feeling about Team USA now?
Last time we talked, I was at a 9.9 on the worried scale, but I downgraded. I'm only at a 9.6. A lot of demons to face in this draw here, Skeets. You've got Spain first, the defending world champions, a legendary team, and a team that definitely has the recipe for how to beat a Team USA team, which we saw in that Czech Republic game. They built a lead in the first quarter by attacking the switching defense with their big guys. And Spain has been doing that, it feels like, for 20 years at this point with the same big guys. They're all super smart. They all know how to play together. So that'll be a tough test for Team USA, coming off a couple of nice games. If they win that one, like you're saying, they have to play against Australia, who has a win streak against the United States. If they win that one, maybe they play against France, who has a win streak against the United States, or they play against Slovenia, who hasn't lost a national team game with Luka Doncic in the lineup. So Team USA is going to have to be the best they've been since they started playing together. Luckily, they're trending upward at this point right now, but it takes one bad shooting game, basically, and you could easily be out of the tournament if you're the Americans. So that has really been the change, is that the teams have started shooting a lot better in these last two wins against Iran and the Czech Republic. So as long as the shots are dropping, Team USA is looking good.
Lee, you got some decisions to make here. Are you going to stay up super late and watch Spain versus USA, or are you going to go to bed early and get up, fairly early? Although I guess you said your kids are back in school, so you'll probably be up anyway to watch some Boomers versus Argentina. Or are you going to watch them both? Come on.
Well, no, probably the 8 a.m. is the tip off the Boomers Argentina.
Yeah.
So pretty excited about that one. I think Australia probably goes in favourite, probably 3 or 4 point favourite against Argentina. But this Argentinian team is just a veteran team. They're experienced. So, and Australia's without Aaron Baines as well. So we're going to miss his body to go banging against big Louis Scola. And it's just, it does get a little bit tight at this stage of any tournament. So, but I am excited because I think, yes, if Australia and the USA win, the battle in the next round. I think it is also in the women's section, Australia and USA at this round already, because Australia snuck in this morning by thumping Puerto Rico, which eliminated the Canadian women. Sorry, guys. So we could have a couple of days here of Australia versus USA in basketball. And man, what
are we back in the pool?
I mean, because the Australian women also have they won their last game against the USA women. So wow,
you're looking too far ahead here.
I know. I'm getting carried away. The thing is, I really feel that right now, of the 8 teams, I don't think Germany's a chance, but I think of the other 7 teams, anyone could pull the gold off in the men's basketball right now. I think
Italy would be pretty low on that list too.
I think so too. I think so, but I think it's France, Slovenia, and the other draw there, because the way Doncic has been playing has just been incredible. He could drag that team to a gold medal somehow. But I genuinely believe that there's really 6 teams that could win the gold medal from here. So it's pretty exciting. But the USA should still be favourite from here, because after that stinker of a loss against France, they've certainly played much better and much more dominant since then. So it's like maybe that was a good loss they had earlier in the tournament. It sort of put them on the right track.
Yeah, Tass, what do you think? Who are your favorites to move on to the second round in these 4 games? Is it going to be sort of chalk in your mind, Slovenia, France, and then Team USA beating Spain early tonight versus possibly the Boomers?
Yeah, the quarterfinals are definitely exciting. All 4 games for sure. This could be Pau Gasol's last professional game if the Americans can take him out. Pau able to bounce back from that injury. Didn't seem like he was ever going to play again. Then he played in Europe this year. He won there, and now he's him and Mark going up against the U.S. will be a great battle. The Australia-Argentina game definitely should be a tough one, but I'm definitely pegging the Americans to get by Spain and Australia to get by Argentina, and then they're going to have to go up against FIBA Patty. So who the heck knows what happens there? And and on the other side, I know Evan Fournier wasn't extremely happy to talk about free agency while he's over there playing the Olympics for France. I get it. Hopefully he'll take it out on Italy, and then they'll go play Slovenia, who is taking on Germany, and that's no joke. You got a Mo Wagner there to get over with the German team, and you got another Zoran Dragic, playing with Luka Doncic on the Slovenian team. So it's not easy, no doubt. It's going to be 4 games worth watching the rest of the way. We're done with the pool play. That's over. Now it's elimination time, so it's time for, I think, the American fans to really tune in, because they probably didn't give a crap about the pool play in general. So now it's time to tune in.
Will you be watching? Are you going to stay up, fairly late to watch Team USA versus Spain, Tess?
I'm a morning peacock. I like jumping on in the morning. So I don't know. I haven't made my decision quite yet.
I'm just wondering if we'll see your tweets flying out tonight watching this game.
Oh, yeah.
Live while it's happening. Yeah,
who knows? So where do you watch it after the fact, though? Where do you watch an archived?
I don't know. I've ended up paying the $4.99 for Peacock because I wanted to watch these things live. People are saying, well, if you got your cable company, you can set it up. But I don't pay for cable, so I don't have that. That's fine. My wife's already watched Dr. Death on Peacock, so we already made it worth our while.
Yeah. Seeing that ad a lot.
Yeah, I was like, all right, good. I'm going to cancel it immediately after this is over. This is a 1-month thing here. I didn't read the fine print. Hopefully I'm not locked in for a year with Peacock. But Trey, I know you're getting your TV mounted. Heck, maybe in the next hour or so here. You going to be watching this thing tonight on your new mounted TV?
Let's see how this goes. The guy just messaged me. He'll be here in 30 minutes, so we got to wrap things up in not too long. As long as it doesn't fall down, I'm I don't know, Skeets. This feels like a throwback to me. It was what? The 2008 Olympics, right? Where it was Team USA in Spain in the gold medal game.
Yep.
You want to throw down a Ball Don't Lie live blog, maybe? Get together,
God.
get a few hundred of our favorite internet people and make some jokes, make some Flight of the Conchord references. That's the last time
was that game on?
That one was early because that was in Beijing.
Yeah.
Wasn't like a 3 a.m. tip or something like that?
I think that's
something
right.
wild. I don't know. I don't know why, but Tass is right. It's time for the American fans to show up and watch your team late at night because I did not care to watch the pool play games at all. But once I saw that 12:40 a.m. tip for a game that matters, ooh, that's a different story, buddy.
And it's nice. You know what's really nice? Obviously it's a shorter game. It's only a 40-minute game with FIBA rules, but the pace is nice too.
Oh yeah,
the pace of play.
Yeah, there's just like, of course, less timeouts. There's less fouls generally called. It's just like it moves a little quicker, which that late at night you got to stay interested, right, Lily? You can't start doozing off during a Dr. Death commercial. Last thing you want to do. All right, so
where do you watch an archive version?
Oh, I mean, I think if you have YouTube TV, I think you definitely can watch it that way, Tass. I don't know. I guess if you have Peacock, I guess I can fire it up and watch all these games that I have on my Peacock plan. I guess I don't know though.
It's just there's compilation highlights on YouTube that can give you most of the feel for the game. Yeah, but I can't find an actual full version of the game online. But
that's why you got to watch it live, man.
Yeah.
True sicko. All right, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Yeah, Lily, you got a tweet of the night here for us, and like I said earlier, I saw a tease for this one, and I was already laughing. So have at it. Well, Lee, you got to turn your mic on if you want to talk to us, man. Lee, we can't hear a word you're saying. There you go.
I was trying. Trust me, StreamYard would not let me in. I was being silenced by the yard. Anyway, this tweet of the night comes in actually from the NBL in Australia. The Mackay Meteors were rocking their Hamburglar edition charity game uniforms. Jerseys were auctioned with funds raised going to the Ronald McDonald Family Room at Mackay Base Hospital. Check out these uniforms, guys. I don't know if you'll ever see anything.
Oh my god,
that's baller. That's amazing.
Oh my god. Oh wow, I thought the tie was actually like an actual tie dangling there for a second.
Like a clip-on.
Yeah, but it's not.
This is awesome.
Not very flattering jerseys either. The horizontal stripes, that man looks huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you imagine Lowry in these jerseys?
Wow, it is crazy seeing anybody run wearing these.
Yeah.
This guy's balling though, huh? 13?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he ended up having 40 points, went 9 for 15 from downtown, had 10 rebounds as well. So,
rubble indeed.
Yeah, Harry Frolling's probably going to want to make them a more permanent addition. He was out there balling, but maybe it's because you couldn't see him. He was in those Hamburglar uniforms. I don't know. But
his name is Harry Frolling.
Yeah.
Harry Frolling, very balling.
Yeah, you just have to keep telling yourself it was for a good cause. It was for a good cause. This wasn't just the franchise saying, let's try these. Let's just roll these babies out there. They were trying to raise money for a good cause. But good stuff from the Mackay Meteors.
Wow, what a name.
That's a good name.
Where is that, Lee?
That's up northern Queensland.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Never heard of that. Tass, were you in the class? It was like first or second year university where I must have been around Halloween where I dressed up as the Hamburglar and ran into a class.
No.
You weren't there. I think JD actually was there. I wish he was on the show today. Well, we'll ask him tomorrow. Remind me to ask him tomorrow. People love a Hamburglar running through and stealing a burger. Like we need to set the whole thing up. I can't remember the class though. I'll have to talk to Matty O. He's got an incredible memory for things like this. Okay, great tweet there, Lily. Fun video, incredible uniforms. Andrew, thank you once again for filling in at the last minute for JD. Appreciate it as always. I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow. JD's lying, by the way. Bullshit. His plane broke down.
This is about a 3-week vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. You watch. You'll be back tomorrow, so we won't even say goodbye to you. New No Dunks tomorrow, though, of course, to discuss the latest in NBA free agency, rumors and possible moves or reported moves. We'll also discuss, I'm sure, Spain, USA, and some of these games from the Olympics. Maybe we'll answer an email or two, too. So send them in, nodunks@theathletic.com, to get all your NBA and non-NBA questions in. Smash that like button. Leave your comments below the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us today. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, apparently Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada is very nice this time of year.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay